All right. One other application. This one actually, this was an application of a square root. Mainly. This, we're going to go back to the Cartesian coordinate system, and we're going to talk about distance between points on a Cartesian coordinate system. We talked about slope. We talked about linear equations there. This one, though, none of that. We're just talking about the distance. Say we've got 2 points here, A and B. I want to know the straight line distance between those 2 points. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, actually, believe it or not, this does come from the Pythagorean theorem. Let me just show you how the formula works, though. Yeah, remember, going back to the slope formula, remember we called one of the points, say this is the first point, we called that x1, y1. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to have one point, x1, y1, then the other point's going to be, of course, x2, y2. Just means this one has, it's the first x and first y, second x, second y. We're going to do the very same thing here. The distance between the points, x1, distance between the points, x1, y1, and x2, y2 is given by this formula right here. D equals, turns out it's a square root number. It's the square root of, you're going to take x2 minus x1 and square it. So the difference of the x's squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. The difference of the y's squared also. Add those squares together, then square root it. You got the distance between the 2 points. Nice little formula, huh? It's a square root formula. Question? Actually, this one I think is provided. So it's just going to be your job to plug in the numbers. Save you a little bit there. Okay. As a crow flies, yeah. All right. So let's do a couple here. So let's find the distance between (8, 3) and 12, 10. Find the distance between 8, 3 and 12, 10. Well, again, like the slope formula, you got x1 and y1 right here, don't you? x2 and y2 right there. So if I plug that in, D equals the square root all of, take the second x, 12, minus the first x, 8, and square it. Don't forget to square it. Then add to that y2 minus y1, so second y, 10, minus first y3. Square that. What do I get? Well, I get the square root of, that would be 4 squared plus 7 squared. And the deal is, again, you have to square those, add them, before you can square root them. So I get the square root of 16 plus 49, which is the square root of 65. Which, depending on type of answer they want, they may want you to simplify that, which it doesn't simplify. But if I want to round it, just punch it in on the calculator to one decimal place, let's say. Rounded would be, what, 8.1 something? Let's do it to 2 decimal places. Rounded, it would be 8.06. So depending on the type of answer, whether they want you to simplify it or round it, this is simplified form, that's rounded form. Okay. All right. Let me do one more because, as you know, throw in some negatives and it makes it a little trickier. You got to watch your signs. All right, so let's find the distance between let's make it negative 2, 4, and 8, negative 6. So again, the distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Plug in those numbers. So that distance winds up being what? Second x is 8. Minus first x is negative 2, right? So we've got the old double negative minus minus 2. You know what happens there. Which makes it positive, yes. So y2, second y, negative 6, minus y1, first y, be minus 4. And let's square it. See what happens. All right, so d equals, that would be 2 negatives make a positive, so that would be 8 plus 2, that would be 10. Squared. This one's going to be negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10 squared. Do those cancel out? Nope. Those don't cancel out because you square both of them, you get 100 plus, square that, you get positive 100 again. Yeah. Winds up 100 plus 100, that's the square root of 200. Which again, if I'm simplifying it, here, do the 100 times 2 thing, right? Square root of 100 times square root of 2, that would be 10 square root of 2. Would be the simplified form. Rounded form, just do the square root of 200 if it just wants you to round that to a decimal. Square root of 200 is along about 14.14. So again, depending on, like I said, the answer they're seeking, may want both for all I know, okay?